Did you know that almost every decision and policy we make has three inseparable elements that have to be considered and balanced simultaneously in order to prevent damaging knock-on consequences later on? Every decision is made by people, which shows that it has both short and long-term social effects to have to consider, from the person or people making the decision to customers, sellers, friends, family, colleagues, employees, etc. The same decision will also have short and long-term environmental factors to have to think about, because everything we produce, use, and consume comes from nature. And the same decision will usually have short-term and definitely have long-term financial considerations to consider, because almost everything we produce, use, or consume costs money. But none of us are born with the need or ability to ever have to balance that complexity. We are all genetically hardwired to make our decisions using a singular narrow context, so we unwittingly separate the elements of our decisions and isolate them from each other. We will take a decision that is complex, involving inseparable short and long-term social, economic, and environmental considerations, and break it down to make it in the narrow, incomplete context of whatever social or economic or environmental need or problem is being addressed, which ends up resulting in damaging long-term social, economic, and environmental knock-on consequences. Let's look at some examples of decisions we make or policies we develop in the incomplete context of a need or problem. Too many elephants. What are the decisions we make in the narrow context of the problem of believing we have too many elephants? We cull, translocate, or sterilize them. What if we have a rat problem? We poison them. Poaching, military-style protection. Locusts or weeds, we spray and poison them. Not enough food. We use chemicals and machinery to produce as much food as quickly as possible. Desertification. We are told to plant millions of trees. So we meet our short-term objectives. We cull, we translocate, we sterilize, we poison, we protect, we spray, we use machinery, we use chemicals, we plant trees. But let's have a look at the long-term consequences of deciding our actions in the context of our problems. So, too many elephants, cull, translocate, sterilize. It's unbelievably huge expense involving thousands of people. It's extremely traumatizing for the elephants, and it results in a more rapid increase in ecological damage. We now know this. When we have a rat problem, we poison them, but then other animals eat the rats and die, and over time, fewer predators results in more and more rats, so our problems increase. Poaching, we use military-style protection at enormous expense, involving thousands of people. Our attack has to increase because the poaching is increasing due to poverty, which is caused by advancing desertification. When we have locusts and weeds, we spray and poison them, which kills everything, not just the locusts and weeds, and this decreases biodiversity, which just creates more and more ideal conditions for locusts and weeds to thrive, so we are increasing the problem with our decision-making. Not enough food. We use chemicals and machinery obsessively, and those destroy soil. So biodiversity decreases and the problems just increase, and the farmers spend more and more money on more pesticides and chemicals, etc. So desertification. We plant millions of trees, costing trillions of dollars using technology, so it's huge expense involving thousands of people, but less than 15% of trees planted in arid climates survive, and desertification just advances, increasing the problem. Every social, financial, or environmental decision or policy we make has unique short and long-term social, economic, and ecological components to have to balance. But we break those down and we use the social or economic or environmental need or problem we're addressing as the context when deciding what actions to take, which results in us meeting our short-term objectives but without ever being able to see or balance the inevitable social, economic, and ecological consequences of any decision or policy. And those knock-on consequences around the world are increasing, and they look like this.